What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. Damn those Bears. They lost to the Packers last night. Tough loss, but hey, there's more football to be played. They got Houston coming up. Not a very good team, but tune in at 5 o'clock, about 3 minutes away right now from all brand new show, episode 2 of this year's Robbie's World of Sports. So sit back and relax. I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. Thank you all for tuning into Robbie's World of Sports. If you could do me a huge favor, hit that subscribe button and hit all the notifications on that. Follow me all at Robbie's World of Sports. You can find me on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, also on Instagram. So we're going to get right into the themes of the Bears and Packers game last night. We also got top plays of the week, and then we have 2 Monday night games we're going to get into. So sit back and relax, enjoy the show, because we have a lot to talk to, a lot to get to. So again, thank you for taking your time out of your day to come and tune in or listening from wherever you're at. If you're in the Chicago area, great. But if you're all over the map, all over the U.S., thank you for tuning in. And again, hit the share button so you can share this with your friends and family and whoever else is a Chicago fan. Even though I lost, I still represent my team, the Bears. Win or lose, I don't care. I still represent. So we're about 2 minutes out from starting the show. You're going to hear the show opener. Then I'll do a little top of the hour update. And then we're going to start the show with the Bears and Packers. So thank you all for tuning in. And it's just been an amazing ride so far. I love what I do. I can't imagine myself doing anything other than doing this and just talking about sports, Chicago, anywhere in the National Football League. I don't care. I just love talking sports. So about a minute out, and then we're going to get this stove started. So if you have any comments, please put them in the comments section. And then hopefully if we have some time at the end of the show, I'll get to those comments. And then, 1 minute out. So, all right, guys, get ready. Okay. And this is still fucking buffering. Come on. Come on. Turn on right now. Turn on right now. All right, we're on. Okay, get ready, everybody. We're starting. We're going live. It's 5 o'clock. I'm Robbie Lopez with your SportsTownChicago.com update powered by the Illinois Media School. If interested in the career in media, go to beonair.com. Bears lose a tough one at Lambeau Field last night as they had no answer to Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers, losing 27-10. Justin Fields went a 7 for 11 with 70 yards and an interception while adding a 3-yard rushing score. Running back David Montgomery was a bright spot, rushing for 122 yards on 15 carries. The Bears took an early 7-3 lead, but it was all Rodgers, Aaron Jones, and A.J. Dillon from that point on. Packers led 24-7 at halftime, and the Bears offense had no way of punching its way back into the game. Next up for the Bears is the Texans, who come to Chicago on Sunday. Kickoff is at noon on CBS. In baseball, the White Sox took 2 out of 3 games from the Tigers over the weekend, still trailing the Guardians by 4 games from first place and 5 games behind the last wildcard spot. White Sox have a day off today, and we'll look to an important 3-game series matchup against their divisional rivals the Guardians. That starts tomorrow. White Sox will send pitcher Dylan Cease. First pitch at 7:10. Cubs lose their series over the weekend to the Rockies, taking 1 out of 3 games and being eliminated from the playoffs. They head to Miami for a 3-game series against the Marlins. Cubs are hoping to get back some key players. Until then, they are taking a good look at Christopher Morel and Yan Gomez for the 2023 season. Cubs take on the Marlins tonight. First pitch at 5:40. Pitcher Wade Miley will take the mound for the Cubs tonight. In the NBA, training camp opens for all teams participating in preseason games outside of North America, starting on September 24th. Then on the 26th, first allowable date for all other veteran players to report to their teams. Training camp opens next week, Tuesday. This has been your Sports Town Update powered by the Illinois Media School. If interested in their media, go to beonair.com. What's going on? Happy Monday, everybody. What's going on, Chicago? I understand a lot of souls out there are hurting, including myself. What a rough night last night was for those Chicago Bears. I really thought we had it. I really thought this was going to be the turning point of us beating Green Bay Packers in Lambeau Field, but that was not the case last night. I need answers. I need answers. I would love to have some answers. But Thank you all for tuning into Robbie's World of Sports. We're going to get right into it. We have Bears talk to get to, top plays of the week, and we got 2 Monday night football games tonight. Vikings versus Eagles and Titans versus Bills. So let's get right into it. Those damn Packers. I mean, in the beginning, it was great. Like, I thought we had a great tempo. We scored first, or they scored a field goal. We marched down the field. We scored a touchdown. And I literally thought that was a turning point. I'm thinking to myself, this is it. We're going to win this game. Everything was starting to fall in place. I thought the game plan, the call plan was great. But then for some reason, it just fell apart. It fell apart. It slipped through the fingers, and they just didn't have an answer, obviously, for Aaron Rodgers. I don't want to say it, but you got to give the guy some props. He's had our number for many, 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 many years. Until we stop him, until we have an idea of what it takes to just stop him and his squad, ladies and gentlemen, the son of a gun owns us. I hate to say that, but this son of a gun owns us. And until we can put a stop to it, this guy is going to continue to own us. And I just played a video, audio clip of what Matt Eberflus had to say about some of the call plays they called. Obviously, the important one that all Chicago fans are probably talking about is, was that a touchdown or was that not a touchdown? And Justin Fields admittedly said that he thought he had the touchdown, but that is not his judgment to make. That was the refs. And later on, he said that's something that we have to just let it go and get over it and move forward. And I'm 100% all about that. Let's just forget about this. It's one bad loss. We have a whole season left. Don't get down on these Bears just yet. I mean, it's Aaron freaking Rodgers, a quarterback that could just take over the whole entire game in a split second. You give the guy time in the pocket and time to just sit back there and throw the ball to wherever he wants to. The guy is going to beat you up. He's done it to many times, to us, to the Vikings, to the Lions. He's done it to all teams. But you cannot allow this guy to have no time in that pocket. There was a couple of times that we had him. We sacked him. I believe we sacked him. We sacked him. I'm going down on the defense. Okay, we sacked him for 3 times. We sacked him 3 times. That's not enough. And then the running game for the Packers, we couldn't stop it. We could not stop both Aaron Jones or A.J. Dillon. It just seems like, and of course, we have young players on this squad. And this is what happens when you have young players. It's funny because I just read that, it happens to all NFL rookies that are transitioning from college to NFL. And it's true. A lot of these cornerbacks have a lot of issues transitioning from college to NFL. And then when you have to stop star players, it's impossible for them because they haven't had a chance to look at these guys and study them. So now that they have their first game under the belt of facing the Green Bay Packers, hopefully the second time around when they come to Soldier Field, we'll have an answer. Hopefully we'll have an answer for them the second time around. But they just didn't have a clue to what was going on. That defense just could not stop the run. Watching it is just agonizing me. I'm yelling at the TV, just stop the run. Because if you stop the run, then you got to make him throw. And he had 2 guys come back. He had Lazard come back from his tight end, And then he's obviously had Randall Cobb and Sammy Watkins. So you got three of your veterans coming back, and then you don't have to worry about your rookie wide receivers because you don't have to really depend on them as you had to in week one. And that's why you had them losing to the Vikings, because the Vikings did their homework to just stop the rookie wide receivers. And that the Vikings just shut down that whole entire offense week one. And I was thinking to myself, well, I'm hoping that the Bears are going to look at that game and probably figure out and pinpoint, what to do, when to stop them, who's covering who. But they didn't have an answer. They had no answer to the running game. They couldn't stop the passing game. They were giving up big plays. And then on offense, like they couldn't get – they sort of had the running games in the beginning, but then they didn't – it's like they lost it. And then they found themselves with a lot of penalties. And then when you get into those third and longs, it's impossible to convert. I mean, they had a third and – I want to say they had a 3rd and 15 and another third and a 3rd and long. And they just couldn't convert because they were costing themselves costly penalties. And then obviously you give up big plays. The big play to Sammy Watkins, he was wide open. And that's on the rookie. I mean, you kind of have to, let these guys play, but it's a learning curve for them. This is a learning curve. They're going to take a lot out of this. They're going to learn from it. They're going to adjust to it. And then they're going to get ready for next week because this game is already over and done with. I'm sure Monday they're not really looking to it. They're going to look at the film, find out what was wrong, what they did wrong, and then make those corrections in practice. And then when the Houston Texans come into town this week, it's going to be a different team. I'm hoping it's going to be a different team than what we saw this past Sunday. Because Houston is not a team to kind of mess around with. I mean, they tied with Indy. They just lost to Denver, a very close one. So we'll have to see what Lovie Smith comes into town with, what kind of offense he comes into town with, what kind of defense he comes into town with. Are we able to control the ball? Are we able to control the game? So those are some of the things that you're going to have to look forward to this week when we take on the Houston Texans. Another thing is, why didn't Luke Getsky have a better game plan? I thought going up against your former team, I thought you would have a better game plan going into this game. And like I said, where was the defense at? You started off great, but then you just kind of left it like you guys were just tired. And then my final question is, do you agree with that call on not being a touchdown? I think that's the biggest thing that's being talked about right here in Chicago, in Chicagoland, everywhere here in Chicago. People are talking about that play. Was that a touchdown? Was that not a touchdown? And here's my thing. Here's my take on this. You have New York with all the technology they have in that damn room of magnifying the spot to see how close it is, where the line is at. You can't tell me that you couldn't pull that up and zoom in to see and tell if that ball actually did come and hit the goal line. Because all you have to do, the ball has to break the plane. That's all it has to do. The ball has to break the plane. And to me and everybody else watching that game, including the announcers, thought that was a touchdown. I thought that was a touchdown. But again, every time we come and play the damn Packers, I feel like they just pay off these damn refs just for them to get this win from us. We can't win the battles, and then everything just seems to go Green Bay's way. They get the call. They get all the calls that go their way. And there's times I'm like, Oh, that's going to be on. No, it's a 15-yard for Chicago, or it's a 5-yard penalty for Chicago. I'm like, come on, are you really serious? Now, there are some penalties, yeah, that was on the Bears, but some of them it just irritates me to just see how these refs call a game in Green Bay. I feel like the fans have a GoFundMe page to pay these refs off so that they can get their win, their first win. Because I bet you any money those sons of guns up north were scared of us coming to town and winning that game. Especially when we have their old offensive coordinator coming into town. That's why I thought we for sure were going to win this game. But let me know what you guys think. Go to my Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram. I'm also on YouTube right now. Go to Robbie's World of Sports. Let me know what your take is on that touchdown. Was it a touchdown or was that not a touchdown? Coming up next on Robbie's World of Sports, find out who my top plays of the week are right here on Sports Town Chicago. All right, everybody, what's going on? I hope you had love that first segment of mine, Bears versus Packers. I had a lot to say. We're going to get right into, I went a little bit over. We're going to get right into going into the second segment of the show, top plays of the week. I got 3 of them. I got Cardinals versus Raiders. Let me know what your intake is on that. I'm going to change the banner right now. Cardinals versus Raiders, Dolphins versus Ravens, and then the Commanders versus Lions. I'm telling you, people, do not sleep on those Lions. Do not sleep. They may be young, but they seem to be playing some good football. Some good football. You know, that first game of the week, it was close for them. They only lost by 3 to Philadelphia. And then they just pounded Washington Commanders, just annihilated them. So those are the 3 games of the week. I also have a 4th one. If I have some time, I'll get into that. That 4th one is obviously the New York Jets coming back down by 3 touchdowns to beat the Browns by 1 point. I think that's another game of the week. So tune in. We're going to come right back and talk about those top games of the week. And then later on in the show, we got Monday Night Football games to talk about. So tune in. Thank you all for tuning in. Welcome back to Robbie's World of Sports. You're listening to on SportsTownChicago.com. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the top plays of the week. The Cardinals versus Raiders, Dolphins versus Ravens, and the Commanders versus the Lions. That's right. Those are my top plays of the game this week because most of these, a lot of the teams were down. So the first one was the Dolphins and Ravens. Ravens were up 35-14 in the third quarter. 35, let me repeat that. 35-14 was the score going into the third quarter. And did you know, I don't know if you watched that game, but Miami came back under their quarterback, Tua, who had a phenomenal game, throwing for 6 touchdowns. 6 touchdowns this guy had. I'm going to bring up the box score. 6 touchdowns, 2 interceptions for 469 yards. He was 36 of 50. 36 of 50 for 469 yards. The guy was on fire. Not only him, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, they had a huge game. To stay undefeated, also, they're 2-0. They just knocked off Baltimore, who a lot of people had Baltimore winning this game, like beating them. Almost to what the score was at in third quarter, 38-14. I think a lot of people were like, this is over with. And nope. Tua and Miami were like, you know what, boys, let's get it going. This game's not over yet. That was one of them. The other one was the Cardinals versus Raiders. That one was an overtime. And that's why I think that had to go into my top plays of the week. Down. Another team down most of the game. And then in the fourth quarter, to come back with no time left on the clock, they scored a touchdown to tie it up, to send it to overtime. Whereas you heard in that clip, Las Vegas Raiders had the ball, and Arizona popped it. A fumble recovered by Arizona to run it in for a touchdown. Game over. And then my other one is the Commanders versus Lions. And why I put that in there? Because I have to give them props. Do not sleep on the Lions team, everybody. I'm telling you right now. Do not sleep on the Lions. They took on the Philadelphia Eagles in week 1, only to lose by 3 points. And then they just, like I said, annihilated. Well, I wouldn't say annihilated. It was a close in the beginning. Well, throughout the game, Detroit was beating the Commanders by a large margin. But then the Commanders came back and kind of brought it close. This final score was 36-27. So they lost by 9 points. But I got to say it. I think this is a team to be reckoned with. They're no longer the winless Lions no more. I think this is a team that is slowly starting to find their identity, and they are no longer that bottom feeders anymore. I think they got this squad turned around. Definitely have a good, solid offensive line, a great defense. So, NFC North teams, watch out for the Detroit Lions. Do not sleep on them because they just won their first ball game, and then they lost a close one to the Eagles, who a lot of people have the Eagles going as a playoff team. So when you get almost close to beating a playoff team like the Philadelphia Eagles and only losing by 3, I can honestly sit here and say that they are no longer this winless organization anymore. I think this is a team to be reckoned with. And then another team that I didn't throw in there because I didn't have the time to, But the other one was Jets versus Browns. Another team that just I mean, uh he was just everywhere. Um yeah. Joe Flacco, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He threw for 307 yards. He was 26 of 44. He was sacked twice, though. But again, the whole game, Browns were winning. Browns had it locked away. But they allowed the Jets to come back. They allowed the Jets. They gave that game away. The Browns did. They gave that game away to the Jets. I mean, come on, Browns. You had that game. And then you just let it slip away in the fourth quarter. Of all important quarters of the National Football League, you allow that to happen. It was a fourth quarter collapse for the Cleveland Browns, who had the game and then they lost the game. And that's just an embarrassment. I mean, that onside kick was perfect. Perfect onside kick. There's a lot of teams this past week that had a 2% chance of winning their games. And you know who teams were those? The Jets, the Miami Dolphins, and the Cardinals. All had 2% chance of winning their games. And by God, they won their games. They said, who cares? Let all the doubters take those teams because we're going to be here to prove them wrong. And by doing it, they proved them wrong. And good for those teams to get their first win. So those are my top plays of the week, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know in the comment box who your top plays of the week were. And if we have any time at the end of the show, we'll get to those comments. Next, we are going to get into tonight's matchup for Monday Night Football, and there are 2 games tonight. Tune in as we break down those games for tonight right here on Robbie's World of Sports. This is 5:30 with your Sportstown update powered by the Illinois Media School. If interested in a career in media, go to beonair.com. Cameron Smith wins the Chicago event in the second start with Live Golf. British Open champion Cameron Smith made his decision to leave the PGA Tour for Live Golf payoff Sunday when he closed with a 3-under 69 for a 3-shot victory to win the Live Golf Invitational here in Chicago. Cubs lose their series over the weekend to the Rockies, taking 1 out of 3 games and being eliminated for the playoffs. They head to Miami for a 3-game series against the Marlins. The Cubs are hoping to get back some key guys, but until then, they are going to take a good look at Christopher Morel and Yan Gomes for the 2023 season. Cubs take on the Marlins tonight, first pitch at 5:40. In baseball, White Sox take 2 out of 3 games from the Tigers over the weekend, still trailing the Guardians by 4 games from first place and 5 games from the last wild card spot. White Sox having a day off today and will take an important 3-game series matchup against their division rivals, the Guardians, that starts tomorrow. White Sox will send pitcher Dylan Cease, and the first pitch is at 7:10. A tough loss for the Bears at Lambeau Field last night as they had no answer to Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers, losing 27-10. Justin Fields went 7 for 11 for 70 yards and an interception while adding a 3-yard rushing score. Running back David Montgomery was a bright spot, rushing for 112 yards on 15 carries. The Bears took an early 7-3 lead, but it was all Rodgers and Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon from there on. Packers led at 24-7 at halftime, but the Bears offense had no way of punching its way back into the game Next up for the Bears is the Texans, who come to Chicago on Sunday. Kickoff is at noon on CBS. This has been your Sports Town Update, powered by the Illinois Media School. All right, we're done with that. Any comments? No comments. No viewers. That's okay. Hey, it don't hurt me, because you know why? It only makes me better at what I do. So I'm gonna tell you right now, when I make it big, and that time is gonna come when I do make it big, and I don't mention any people's names, it's because I didn't have any supporters. And the people that do support me, I will let them know. I will let the world know who those people were and how much I appreciate their support on this wonderful journey that I'm on. So all I ask that you do is hit the share button, share the video with all your family and friends. Let them know that you have a wonderful family member or friend doing his thing, talking about sports, and all he's looking for is some support, and that's about it. So again, coming up next on Robbie's World of Sports right here, you're watching on Facebook or YouTube Live. We got Monday Night Football. We got 2 games tonight. We have Vikings versus Eagles and Titans versus Bills. I'll give you guys my input on those games. And at the end of the show, I will give you my final prediction and the final score. Coming up right here on Robbie's World of Sports. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Hit that share and comment button. Hit the little bell button for all the notifications of Robbie's World of Sports and when he's live. We're 20 seconds away of going back on live on the radio, so sit back and relax, and thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate the love. And welcome back to Robbie's World of Sports. You're listening to right here on SportsTownChicago.com. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube Live, thank you all for tuning in. Hit the comment button if you would like to put any comments about today's show. We're going to get right into it, ladies and gentlemen. Monday Night Football. We got 2 games tonight. We got Vikings versus Eagles and Titans versus Bills. The first game is at 6:15 tonight. And that's the Tennessee Titans versus Buffalo Bills at Bills. Whew, a lot to get to on this one. Titans coming off that bad, horrible loss in the first week, and Buffalo just taking it to their opponents, the Los Angeles Rams, on Thursday Night Football last week. They got a big, I wouldn't say a big test, but they have a test with Tennessee Titans. We're going to see if they can bounce back after that horrible performance of last week. And can the Bills dominate still? I think they can. And it's at home in Bills. You got Bills Mafia going nuts. But I'm going to take the Bills on this one. I'm not going to give you my final score because we're going to get into some more. Quarterback matchup. You got Ryan Tannehill versus Josh Allen. My pick on those 2 quarterbacks, I'm going to definitely take Josh Allen at home under the lights. I will take Josh Allen over Ryan Tannehill. The running back situation, Derrick Henry and Devin Singletary. Can Derrick Henry get into the groove of his beast mode? I'm hoping he can come out and dominate that run game like he always does. He's a bigger built. He has that speed. He has that power. It's going to be something. Can Buffalo Bills defense contain him? I don't think they can. But again, Bills defense is one of the top defenses in the league right now, with Von Miller on their side and Ed Oliver, who's out. So who's going to replace him on the other side? But you still got Von Miller. He's just a different type of player on defense that could just get to the quarterback like no other, like Aaron Donald can, and some of these other defensive ends that can just get to the quarterback. And so I'll take Tennessee's running backs. Wide receivers, Stephon Diggs going up against Tennessee's Titans wide receiver core, because I can't remember who they have. They don't have A.J. Brown no more. So it's going to be hard to see, where Tannehill is going to throw this ball to. On this one, they're just, the Bills are just too much for Tennessee. The other matchup for tonight is Vikings versus Eagles, and that's about an hour after the Titans-Bills go off. That one is a 7:30 game, so about an hour after the first game goes off, Minnesota Vikings and the Philadelphia Eagles will kick off. And again, Cousins versus Jalen Hurts. Oh, I was told that Kirk Cousins doesn't play very well on Monday nights. I think the only time he did play well was against us a couple years back. I think that's his only win on Monday night was against us. But I'll go with Jalen Hurts. I think with him, he has something to prove. Cousins, I think after beating Green Bay, they possibly could come into the Eagles and take this one, maybe on a late field goal, maybe some last minute heroics, could be a interception return for a touchdown, game ends. But 66% have the Eagles winning this one. Dalvin Cook versus Saunders. I'll take Sanders on this one, or Saunders on this one. And then the wide receiver core. Oh, this is going to be a good matchup because you got Jefferson versus A.J. Brown. Two of the high elite guys on receivers. To me, this was going to be a coin flip. It's going to come down to which defense can keep the other from scoring. And I really think that we're going to see the Eagles' defense get tested. I think Jefferson is just too fast. You got Thienen right there. You have some other receivers that that Cousins can throw to. I'm going to give the edge to the receivers on this one. I'm going to take the Vikings receivers core on this one. And then what's the other one? Defense. That's right. Another one is defense. Who's going to have a better defense? Is it the Eagles or Minnesota? I love what I saw with Minnesota's defense, able to stop Green Bay's run and, shutting down their receivers. Can they replicate what they did week 1 to week 2? Can they come into the Eagles or Philadelphia and shut down the Eagles offense? Or can they just put a stop to their offense completely. The running game, the passing game. We're going to see what type of team the Vikings are under this new head coach. So, again, it's going to be this one is going to be, to me, I think is going to be a close one. I'm not going to tell you the score or my predictions just yet. That's going to come up in the next segment. But I'm going to take Minnesota's defense. I think Eagles has some question marks on there. And can they stop the run as well as the passing game? Because, like I said, Jefferson is just a different type of receiver. He's got the height. He can go up and get those jump balls. So we'll see what type of defense the Eagles have, and are they able to stop the run, stop the passing game. We're going to see tonight two incredible matchups tonight. I don't think we have had two Monday nights footballs this early in the season. So to have two Monday night is a gift because I love my football. I wish we had two Monday night games every night, but just for this week, we have two games this week. So that, and then, next on Robbie's World of Sports, find out who we pick for tonight's game and the final score for each matchup right here on SportsTownChicago.com. You're listening to Robbie's World of Sports right here. No comments. Hey, that's okay, everybody. That's okay. Welcome back to Robbie's World of Sports right here on SportsTownChicago.com. I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. I hope everybody has a wonderful Monday night. I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend too. Getting right into everything, we're going to start with final picks and then the final score for each game we're going to get right into it. My picks for tonight are going to be the first game. We have Titans versus Bills. I'm going with Bills big on this one. I'm going to take the final score 35 to, I'll say 35 to 24. Bills. Bills win it big, 35 to 24. They get their second win of the season. So, and then the second game of the night is Vikings versus Eagles. And I'm going to go ahead and take the Eagles. I believe the Eagles can win this game at home. Final score, I'll say Eagles 28, Vikings 21. I think they lose by a touchdown. 28-21, Eagles over the Vikings, and then 35 to 24, Bills. Let me know in the comments section right now at Robbie's World of Sports. Go to Robbie's World of Sports. All on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. Let me know who you got for these two games tonight. Eagles versus Vikings or the Titans versus Bills. All right. So we didn't have any comments in today, so it looks like everybody was a lot busier, or they're just still in pain from this wonderful or horrible loss of last night to the Packers. But what are your final thoughts? Or what are you going to take away from this weekend's games? And what are you looking forward to next week in next week's games? We'll take a look real quick. $7:15 at Cleveland, Houston at Chicago. We got Vegas at Tennessee, Kansas City at Indianapolis, Buffalo at Miami. Depending on what the outcome of this game is, we're going to have two teams that are 2-0, and who's going to get their first loss of the season. That's going to be a good matchup. Buffalo at Miami. That right there could be a game of the week. Detroit at Minnesota. Minnesota's going to find out what type of team Detroit is. And depending on the outcome of this game tonight, we might have all four teams in the NFC North all at 1-1. And then going into this week, you got Detroit. So it's good. That one's going to be an interesting game because it's an NFC North divisional game. It's going to separate those two teams from the rest. I can't wait to watch that one. I'll be flipping channels from the Chicago game and Detroit, Minnesota. Baltimore at New England. Baltimore coming off that loss this week. New England coming off their first win. Cincinnati at New York. We got the 0-2 Bengals just coming off a Super Bowl run. Man, I don't think the Bengals just – that offensive line has a lot of question marks. They have a lot of issues on that offensive line. And can they go into New York and steal one from the Jets, just like how the Jets stole one from the Cleveland Browns this past weekend? It's going to be interesting to see. Philadelphia at the Washington Commanders, another division rivalry. We're going to see who is the better team. Depending on the outcome of this, is can Philadelphia win tonight against the Vikings? They'll separate those teams in that division with the Eagles taking the lead. And then New Orleans at Carolina, Jacksonville at the Chargers, The Rams at Arizona, Atlanta at Seattle, Green Bay at Tampa Bay. That's another good one. Can Rodgers go into Tampa and beat Brady? I'm just hoping Tampa can beat them. That's all I'm hoping. I'm hoping they can beat them. And then the Sunday night game, we have San Francisco at Denver. Russell Wilson taking on his former division foe in San Francisco when he was playing for Seattle. Can he take on the San Franciscos? Now that Trey Lance is gone, they got Jimmy G back, as he likes to be called, porn star Jimmy. But yeah, can Russell Wilson go in there and go into home and take one from San Francisco? And then we have our Monday night game, Dallas at New York. Dallas finally getting their first win without Dak Prescott. They won with Cooper Rush, who is now 2-0 in his first 2 starts as quarterback. He is now 2-0. Can he make it 3-0 against the New York Giants, who just snuck in a win yesterday, beating Carolina 19-6? They snuck a win. So can they go 3-0? That's right, ladies and gentlemen. New York Giants are 2-0 in that division. Depending on what the Philadelphia Eagles do, they could be tied for first with the Philadelphia Eagles at 2-0. So those are this week's matchups. A lot of good matchups. It's going to separate these teams not by much. It's only week 3, but it's going to separate these teams. We're going to see who are the contenders and who are not the contenders. We're going to find out which teams are going to go. Let me see who is anybody 0-3 or 0-2 right now. The Bengals are 0-2. Depending on what Titans do, they could go 0-2. Raiders are 0-2. Falcons are 0-2. Panthers are 0-2. So, like I said, there's some of these teams that are going to be looking for their first win, or they're going to be down in the hole 0-3. We're going to find out, because there's a lot of good matchups this next week, or this coming week, I should say. And I can't wait. Like I said, Lovie Smith comes back to Chicago after so long of not being in NFL. He was coaching down in Champaign for a while until this past couple, was it last season? Illinois got their coach. Anyway, he's now back in the NFL with the Houston Texans, leading that organization. He comes back to Chicago to take on the Chicago Bears. Let me know what you guys think of that game. Is this a for sure win, or is this like a question mark for you? Do you have any question marks going into this week's matchup with the Houston Texans? For me, we're going to find out what type of adjustments are made during this week at practice for the Bears. Do they make those necessary corrections? Can they turn it around? Can they go 2-1 at the end of this week? There's a lot to talk about. It's only Monday. We still have the rest of the week. We'll be looking forward to Matt Eberflus's press conference during the week, just to kind of give us an update on how practice is, on some of the players. So look forward to hearing about that. Tune into that. What else? Pretty much, for me, I want to see the game plan for Fields. I want to see a different type of game plan going into this week. Let's see what Luke Getsky has. Maybe, hopefully, he has a better game plan this week. Hopefully the defense can get it all back together again this week. Hopefully there's no penalties. Hopefully we can stay away from those penalties. What else did we do wrong this past week? Run block, pass block. The defense has got to get there. Offensive line. Surprisingly, the offensive line held up that defense of the Packers, and they only, like I said, they only sacked Justin Fields only 3 times. So I'm hoping that this offensive line continues to strengthen to keep Fields on his toes. You know, stay in the pocket. If you have to move out of the pocket, run, extend the run, do it. What else? Real quick. What else am I looking for? Special teams. I'm looking for better special teams. I think special teams did fairly good. There could be some improvements on the special teams. But overall, I think it comes down to how well the game plan is built for this week. What are some of the adjustments that Justin Fields has to make? What are some of the adjustments that the defense has to make? These younger cornerbacks have to study this film better, prepare yourself a lot better, and then just go out there, stick to the game plan, and just stay true to what you guys believe in. Just listen to your coaches, make the necessary adjustments throughout the game, and just keep that tempo. I think they had a really good tempo in the beginning, and then all of a sudden they just kind of lost it. So if they can stick with the tempo and just play their game, I can see them winning this game. So that is it for me, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys for tuning in to Robbie's World of Sports right here on SportsTownChicago.com. Have a wonderful week. I had a wonderful time here in the studios talking Bears, Packers, and other football. I can't wait till next week. Hopefully we'll have a win coming in next week, and we have some good news to talk about. Until then, check out my social medias, all at Robbie's World of Sports, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Until then, have a wonderful week, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in to Robbie's World of Sports right here on SportsTownChicago.com and all my social medias. Until then, have a wonderful week, everybody. And then, yeah. Also, I forgot to tell you, Wednesday is my birthday. I totally forgot that this Wednesday is my birthday. I'll be 41 this week. Happy birthday to myself. Be sure to hit my Facebook if you want to say happy. And that's where you can find Robbie's World of Sports. Until then, everybody, have a wonderful Monday. Take care. Have a wonderful night. I'll see you guys here next week on Monday, right here at 5 o'clock on SportsTownChicago.com. What's up, everybody that is tuning on my YouTube page? Thank you all for tuning in. Those who stopped by, I know I saw a couple of viewers stop by. Thank you all for stopping by, saying hello. We'll do this again every Monday right here at 5 o'clock on SportsTownChicago.com, where you can listen to it live on the radio, or you can watch me on Facebook Live, YouTube, and then listen to me on Twitter. I'll see you guys back here next Monday. Go Bears. Hopefully we'll have a different outcome this Sunday. Until then, have a wonderful week, everybody. I salute to you. And then, again, if you guys want to wish me a happy birthday this Wednesday, my birthday is on a Wednesday. I'll be greatly appreciated. Love you all. Have a wonderful week. Until then, I'll see you guys right here Monday. Have a wonderful week.